Yo, 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 what's popping, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Podicast right here at World of Wines, CBD, right behind the Protea Hotel. Just make sure you come through, guys. We have all kinds of wines here from all across the world, okay? Not hating on South Africa, but yeah, we've had a lot of them, especially from Cape Town. Maritze, I'm talking about Portugal, France, Italy, all of those places. You can get a bottle of wine for yourself. You can come through for tasting. They offer a wine tasting as well as get yourself bottles, okay, from as little as 195 pula and get an experience that you've never had before. And they're also partnering with us for our 100th episode that's happening on the 14th of June. So make sure that you come through for Honema World of Wines. This is where you can get your ticket for about 250 pula, which gets you one of these following wines that we have on offer here. I want to try and pronounce them, okay? There's one called Drink Miduro 2023. It's from Portugal. It's a white wine. There's La Fioli Cortez Dorone. Jesus. It's from France. It's a red one. There's Alamos Malbec. It's from Argentina. Yeah? It's a red one, and then there's also a bottle of Miglior Prosecco, and that one is a sparkling wine from Italy. Okay, so you can get any one of those. And also a special shout out to our other partners here, man. It's Munchies. They got nuts paws for our guests here. You can get all of this stuff also. This is like a hub for everything that's BW. Bapusha BW Blind. Even the artwork, I mean, it's by my boy Ron, the artist. So you can also come through, check out some of this stuff that they got for you. There's a lot, and this is even before we get into the show, because this one is a special one. We're going to be talking to some movers and shakers in the Botswana entertainment industry, and I like the panel that we got today because between them, man, it's close to over 50 years of experience in the BW entertainment space. They recently just took over the Botswana Entertainment Promoters Association. So we got the president and we got his cabinet here with us. In the house today, we're joined by Hwaba Mojakhomu, who is a seasoned creative entrepreneur, cultural activist. He's also been on radio. The only show that I thought could give us a run for our money, man. Emergency Room on To My FM, because this nigga sounded like he was always charged up. So yeah, it's really, really nice to see him behind the mic. He is now the president of the Botswana Entertainment Promoters Association. Also in the house, we are joined by Taz Intaile. Come on, man, who doesn't know Back to School? Who doesn't know the black tie events before the Talata? You know what I mean? Our big homie was handling it. He's a veteran promoter and event logistics expert with over 20 decades of hands-on experience in Botswana's live entertainment scene. And he is into production dynamics because he's one of the first ones who wasn't just putting up sound on the stage. This nigga had merch. This nigga had all of it. All of what you're seeing now, which is standard, was actually pushed forward by this gentleman. And not forgetting the Fashion Trends, which was also on the Voice newspaper, which did a whole lot for the fashion industry in BW. And also, and last but not least, we have Mr. Vince Musimanewa Khan. Now, you've probably seen this nigga, and he doesn't talk a lot until you talk to him. You know what I mean? He does his job, he handles it, and we always see the after work that he's done. He's a cultural practitioner, he's a promoter. He has a long-standing footprint in Botswana's creative landscape, organizing impactful festivals, and also advocating for artists' rights. And he's dedicated his career to elevating entertainment as a serious economic sector. Number 80. Contributor to GDP. I get 80 kabukai. But, you know, these are the type of people who are trying to get us to a position where we're actually being looked at by the government as people who can help out with the GDP. So it's going to be a really, really good conversation. And like I say, they are at the helm of running the Botswana Entertainment Promoters Association. Guys, without further ado, give it up for our guests.
Thank you so much, Lebadi, for having us.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah. Sure, buddy.
So when was the last time you were behind the mic?
Hey, on Thursday last week.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got a 1 hour weekly show.
Oh, okay.
Push spot.
No doubt. But I mean, for a lot of people who live like Bonobo Entertainment and radio specifically, you know, they always feel the need to come back. You look very comfortable where you are.
I'm happy. I'm happy where I am.
No doubt.
Great.
There's love there.
Absolutely.
Yes,
and I've got all the time in the world to do what I'm passionate about.
Definitely.
Such as what's happening in the art.
Definitely, my king. What about you, Taz? Like, it's been a minute since Back to School reborn, but you have delved into other concepts that you put together. We remember Wimbledon just recently. How have you been doing? Where have you been hiding at, big homie?
I'm around. I'm around. I'll go and talk a hoop. Lesonya o sa le bonelang kha somewhere.
Somehow, somewhere. But it's good to see you in the space.
No, man. We are working. Also, you get to learn how to move quietly, but impactful. So we're still in the creative business.
Yes, sir.
We're still developing unique concept. We still consult through our experience.
Yes, sir.
In the space. We give companies that want to work with us market intelligence from locally or even beyond borders.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Vince,
Hola. What's up, man?
People meet you, they see you at some of the biggest events we've seen in Botswana in recent years as well. I don't know if you can tell us some of them and some of the stuff that you've worked on, so that some of these people who don't know you can because back to school, he's born and raised, but you were there in the early days. What are some of the items that you've contributed to?
Thank you, Lebadi. Weekend, it's almost funny.
Oh,
this very weekend,
yeah.
I had one of the biggest wine shows in the country.
Vusinova?
No.
No, you
No. It's okay.
Which one were you handling, Papa?
I had a wine show, Bidua Wine in May.
Yes,
it's been running for 4 years now. This past weekend, Saturday, Nerile ko Tapong.
Oh, okay.
A sold out experience. Beautiful wines from around the globe. The idea is really to help young Batswana distributors had access to market. You know what I mean?
Okay.
These are some of the wines
to
move people away from the common default brands.
Yes, sir.
And say there are beautiful wines in the market that you haven't experienced.
Yes, sir.
And come have a taste of them at the wine show.
Awesome.
Wine show. Look, my history with the creative industry dates back as far as my University of Botswana days.
Yes, sir.
I used to do tea parties for women.
Yeah.
I used to do, and I still do. There's a flagship women's conference called Cicero Women in Business and Leadership.
Yeah.
That's been running for 13 years now. I produced F&B All That's Jazz when we hosted Joe Sample and David Sanborn. And I'll forever reference that event, despite the fact that in our pancha motseleng, but it's one of my biggest breakthroughs in the corporate space. I did the BTC Jazz, Kopalape, and at the time BTC Nesansi Bidwa B Mobile. So essentially we were celebrating 5 years B Mobile in the industry when they took over.
Awesome.
But equally the jazz event was meant to connect everybody else Botswana into the central.
Awesome.
The reason why we picked Palape at the time was to connect the south, the north, the east, the and to give Palape, the central region, a flagship event. And I'm glad that Born and Raised now is there to fill up that gap.
We do the space selling like for years and years and years. It's always been like a comfort zone.
When you talk about entertainment space, before and I did the 90s old school. I used to pack up GICC 70s 80s.
Last year, a jacket from you. Oh hey.
Just last year, November, I hosted Sissy Peniston from the USA. But what's interesting at the time, when I hosted the artist, that was the time when Botswana had the new government transition, and the focus was really not on the show. People were happy that Sissy Peniston came, but the interest, the focus of everybody else countrywide was around this transition. But and stuff. So pretty much that's what I've been what I've been doing.
You've been up to. No, you guys, like I'm saying, there's a lot of experience that we have here.
Yeah.
You know, you all deserve like an interview on your own, so we can delve into some of the things that you've done. But you know, today we were going to primarily focus on you guys being in this Botswana Entertainment Promoters Association, and also delve into your experience with doing events and stuff like that. I'll start with the chairman. You actually got the vice secretary, and you are an additional member within the committee. I want to start with you, Waba Onora. Can you at least tell us a little bit about your journey in the entertainment industry and what actually led to you going for the chairmanship of BEPA?
Well, my journey begins from, I think everybody started off from university.
Yeah.
I ran for political office.
Minister of Entertainment.
President. Another senior post that I was running for within the University of Botswana. So ultimately, that's what introduced me to the creative sector. I remember one of the very first artists I dealt with was ATI, having to book him for political rally performance. Post that, I landed a job on radio, do my FM. I was there for so many years. Having started off from the weekend all the way to weekday.
Oh, you started on the weekend?
Absolutely, yeah. I started off from graveyard as everybody else.
The trenches. Now, I started with breakfast. You guys, I came in hard, but I always respect that though. That's what makes you such a hard worker.
Absolutely. Now we came in from graveyard.
Yeah.
I had to leave the club and go to work back in the day, and ultimately rose through the shows and ended up with the morning show. I then got quite a lot involved with promoting and advocating for the creative sector. Particularly, I remember Bo Gaole Menyane from Mighty Song. I remember Bo G Sport. They used to push a lot of comedy shows. In fact, I think at the time, comedy sumulang what we are seeing today. Over and beyond the fact that Budiki came in some couple of years ago. So basically, that is where the love and interest for the creative sector came in, right? And then ultimately, 2016, we gave birth to what Vince talked of earlier, which is what everybody wants to be a part of every end of the year, December. That's Born and Raised. I think this year we're doing the 9th year edition. So
when you get close to 10, that's when now, you know.
Absolutely. And I'm not even shy to even mention that it's not easy at the very beginning. I mean, you start breaking even when it comes to maybe the 3rd, 4th show, if you're lucky. Otherwise, you're sitting on debts upon debts at the very beginning. But I mean, if you have love and interest and drive for what you're doing, you, despite the fact that you could accumulate debts, bottom line is you'd want to proceed until the time where you start to monetize what is your passion.
So I remember the Ringo one.
The Ringo one was the first one.
That was the first one.
That's the one that flopped crazy.
I had to go with him to the bank.
Can I tell you something? People look at the success of Born and Raised today. Right? People see the success of Born and Raised today. They don't know that on that very night, Caesar, I slept in between some farms. I was heavily and entirely devastated as to how the show unfolded. Everything was not connecting. Just that we had a good support system. They ensured that they helped us out of the trouble that we're in. I can tell you now that we're sitting on a 700,000 pula debt from that particular event. And that's just how bad it were from the very beginning. All right. And this is what ultimately got me decide to say, look, but if I have an opportunity to come in and drive change, all right, why not? Because I come from bad lessons. Really.
So you know the space. You've been through it, the ups and the downs.
From 700,000 pula debt to the success that Born and Raised is today. That's where it comes from. Absolutely. How to go I
want to get to Taz as well, because at least you gave us an idea of, you know, and you've seen the good and the bad side of it. What got you into this space? Because you came in with a crew of your homies, and we'd never seen anything like the shows that you were doing. Like I'm saying, theme music, merchandising, consistency every year wa tswa go morakeng kwa, I don't care who you are. O so go check out a pep boots or uniform because that's all we thought about. We all knew on the 1st of January that's what happens. How did you get into the space?
I think I'm a creative from birth. Eh?
Yeah.
Because I've always loved to interact or network with people.
Yeah.
And two, I always like to look good. And which is why all my events are themed events.
Yeah.
And Kozgela, Alusan to look with Senjolo.
Yeah.
Ne ona le crew engwe ya rona ne bidwa go the Creedy Boys.
Everyone wanted to be part of that.
So ezali simolla go re le ko marang. So ne re le rona ba Motswako at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember ba fitlile WHP ne ka re le ne ke gona ira, but our favorite artist at the time ne le ba fitlile.
Those are real Motswako listeners.
Yes.
How well like
Yeah.
ba fitlile o bui.
Yeah.
Before Jabba.
Blacksmith and Prof.
Yes, sir.
So we started there with my cousin China G and Fiji, and then we had our friend Dr. Dax Ken and Eleman in Jararo. So we always had our business in check at the time from high school, and then we transitioned to high school. Kolidumang ebehonna busy, and that was when Yarona FM is inali this Friday shows that the host to Big Duke.
Yeah.
So we competed
Rapidity
there
and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, so we competed and then we ran number one on that Friday.
Yes, sir.
And then they recorded the song. I think we came the following week to record it. I think you remember Noras na wina the following week what record.
So you know what? You say that now, and we take that for granted because there's studios in every neighborhood now.
Instrumental. The instrumental, you remember back then in the CD, that is single, the instrumental. So
yeah.
you take, I think they released a Lil Kim.
Dog, I went through the same thing when we were with our group, Le Fox, the VOT.
Yeah.
We won, and then we used We'll Always Love Big Papa. And then the Duke was recording us, I think, and again, K Love. And then after that,
yes.
Because
so,
no one had tracks out at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Rona, I always say to people, now I'm not excited about being in the forefront of things because from a very young age, we were out there. I mean, at school magazine, they would print huge posters, but it's a notice board in Moscow. We're the hottest artists. Would perform go map and we took map or perform it, and it was not an easy thing then.
Yeah.
So we had our crew, and then once we're the coolest cause girl.
Yes, sir.
For sure, because we used to host the Saturday Briscoe Game Reserve.
Okay.
Nearly hot at the time.
Yes, sir.
And then when we turned 18, we threw the hottest parties. Braya Gajusi Kimoto sound, so we bang host, and then so organizing started for me. It started then. That early, and then 21st. Yeah, and then I think China can and I 21st. Yeah, go that hotel go. No, come go ditan go back to school. Yarona Country Lodge.
Yeah.
So it was his birthday is on the 3rd. So on the 1st of Jan, Berdumala na okay, let's contribute to Chomi. Because it was still the same crew that we grew up together. We were no contributing Zaga, and then let's host a big party.
Yeah.
And then we decided Kinresaire, Lemology and Robaleting and everything.
Yeah.
So it was on the 1st, and then a lot of people came.
Yeah.
So after that we realized we said no, next year same time. So that's how
that was the first one.
So then we came up with a theme, and I think at that time we were about to be Sarafina Bash because that was Nakoila Sarafina because of the uniform and stuff.
Yeah.
My idea was kana raretswa ko eleng gore onobulela go sgela go apara uniform ya.
Yeah.
So we were saying that's when a rebitary school with no rules.
Yeah.
Or now you can wear your uniform the way you want to.
Yes, sir.
And we start in the year with that.
Yeah.
Then you go back to your schools and whatever.
Definitely.
So that's how we started Ka, and then we built Back to School to run for a good 15 years. We experienced the growth from the first 100 people to 15,000 people. We introduced the tagline. The event now wanted the tagline. Tota rona ke rona ne re seta ke template. Oh.
We learn.
Yeah, we're living the legacy.
Yeah. So what I keep with this, they make you hoop.
People are always waiting for the taglines these days.
Hey, we are tamona mena kwele.
Yeah.
So boya nkimela ya charge, and people didn't understand where we were coming from.
Yeah.
And not because we used to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
We would the tagline is really dear. It was tagline still and horror ke language every day. So I wanted something selling horror. It would be easy for me to sell like a radio, early more space in one and that. Boya nkimela ya charger, ya boare khemollo, yam forvaya, and then we then made songs.
Yeah.
Selling horror the theme track.
Yes, sir.
Because
shout out Mosako and Press Beats. Like you guys were always in the studio, all the time. Like it was really, really impressive to see the process.
And MS Len, he really, one thing that is important is that you always have to build people who they understand you.
Yeah.
You understand, and they can be creative in their own space and then come together with you and then halokopana in. You understand. So that is what Back to School did. It said the tour. We did countrywide tours. Higher the budget. They got the BM already brandy and you know what I mean.
Yes, sir.
The billboard.
Yeah.
The merchandises. I even went to China to get the Back to School merchandises.
Yeah.
The kaushu ing and all those things. Yeah. So that's for Back to School alone. Yeah. And if I look back. And where we are now, I think we've really pushed our locals.
Yeah.
Because then maximum were 2 artists in it. The rest was our local
all
artists.
The time.
Lonabo lebadi na nale akora gona MC.
Yeah. And that place Netlan Bugalove. He was scheduled to perform at a time. I can tell you, my man. When are we getting on? Hey, man, but it got us to also like flex our skills in different departments.
And mind you, listen, energy. Our energy was really, really high at the time.
Yeah.
And we had a crew. Who's doing what and who's doing what.
But you guys were able to get sponsorship. Like I think that's also what we started seeing on okay. You guys were able to work with the big guns.
Mascom, we were in
Savannah. You actually did some other gigs, and we'll get into the other fashion stuff as well. Because I said like your stories.
I mean, but Back to School we did I think I received me and Khosi because then we were doing casting. Casting was something new, and then 2 weeks in Bershapa internship ko Lapolo. Cheryl, then Nelly, Mr. Olsen, Shike. They gave us an opportunity as well to experience our photography king. Then we started our own fashion column on The Voice. Seedley Moses at the time they were still Root Boy. They were still at the Voice. They called us in and then they said, "Do you guys want to do the fashion tweets?" Because then there was now the fashion column. Yeah. So we repeat our fashion tweets because never one
all the time. Yeah.
And then we started that. It blew up. We did page 3. In page 3 very similar. We'll bring in Miss Botswana, the Miss Universes, and be creative about it.
Pop culture is similar.
Pop culture. And then we introduced the fashion parties. We were the first to do the fashion parties in Botswana. News Cafe where people will say people should dress up on this, and then Renaldi DJ local and we bring brands as well.
Definitely.
Then we had the True Blue magazine, which was the first fashion magazine in Botswana. when True Blue was a company that was doing the casting, and then we did photography, worked with all the advertising agencies to provide them with models, and we also do photography as well.
Crazy.
The long list.
Yeah, I know it's a long list, and give me back to school, and also what happened between you and Kwesi. I have so many questions, but we got to talk a little bit about the BEPA.
Yeah.
But I want to start with you, Vince, because for some reason, every time I talk to you guys, you lobbied guys into doing this thing. Maybe I may be wrong. How did you guys come together to contest for positions within the Botswana Entertainment Promoters Association?
That is a very, very important question. And I'll tell you what. Before COVID, we were just doing our own thing without being part of the BEPA ecosystem. At the time, Uncle Sauce, the late Uncle Sauce.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Bore Uncle Shimamana Zenzel, your PPs. In a limo katlo ole ko wona le ditsamaiso tsa yone, none of us ele mo katlo
I
like the emphasis. Mokato.
Listen to this man.
And none of no guys kopa re tshwara ka maitseo guys le mo katlo yana. But anyway, we became part of it during COVID.
Okay.
When life was happening.
Yeah, for all of us.
Remember, the industry was the first to close, and we were the last to open again. So, and the government at the time didn't want to deal with individuals and individual companies.
Yeah.
So the only way for us to channel our concerns, our grievances, was to be a part of this organization.
Yes, sir.
So most of us, if not all of us, we joined by default because at the time there was a dire need for us to belong to a certain system collectively.
Yes, sir.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
but I'm not about fragmentation during Nakoye.
Yes.
How come fragmented? Are we that fragmented? Anyway,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, that word fragmented.
So yeah, no, in between, still so we had to build a team that will channel our concerns to the concerned parties. But in and you know, what a function committee can I remember you are learning on the job, and there are certain things to present or to carry the mandate the way you would if you were trained for it, right? And just 3 weeks ago, a month ago, we went for elections.
This is after how long the same?
It's been 5 years, bro.
Okay.
It's now COVID to now. So renter function this committee. Big up to them. Bazamile balikile. But we need to run and operate things differently. And no caucus.
Yeah.
Team A, Team B, Team C, whatever you name it.
How did you guys get together?
Okay. Now,
squad, starting lineup.
Myself personally,
yes, sir.
And Taz, and the president here, and I'll be candid with you, we didn't want to be part of the committee.
Fear of rejection?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
There was literally no interest whatsoever in being part of this based on our experience. Are you with me?
Break it down to me. I mean,
bad.
No, you
and calls.
Campaign. Vice secretary.
Now I'll tell you how it came to me.
Yes, sir.
And I'm the one who recruited him.
Yes, sir.
Because I didn't want to be part of it.
There was a group that was created.
Okay.
I can't remember the created.
Mox.
So tota they caucused baliko ba re bolela re kana bana ditlhopho di etla, we want you guys to be a team that is going to take us carry us forward, right?
Did they tell you why?
They believed in us.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were the ones who were handpicking gore man ke manyo tsana mo group. So it was just around 8 or 10 of us mo group nya thing.
Okay.
So like bona go kentswe di message ke busy ke tsentswe mo group ke ipotsa ke bona khantele.
Okay, but before that,
yes, sir.
Akira now was part and parcel of the actual creation of the group. So Mox gives me a call, says to me, my man, we've got elections coming up.
Yeah.
And we need a solid team
to
run for these elections. I say to him, Mox, no, Papa, I'm not interested in this thing. I'm happy to support whoever either decides to contest or whoever everybody believes would be best suited to run for office. So post that, I get a call from Easy B. Easy B! So post that, then it happened that I met up with Mox. Mox says to me, Chief, there are a few things that we're not happy about, and we really need to come together with a very solid team to run office going forward. Cool, no problem. So who's there?
Yeah.
I get it. No, Nakila Mox, I'm not going to be part of it, but let's find people that could be there. I get it. I think the first lobby list had certain people. By Longkhor did not make it part of it because of where they work and what they do on the day-to-day. We had really wanted them to be part of it because of the experience. So then we skimmed through a couple of people that were members of the association and said, but let's look for credible people that we think we can trust, you can rely on. That is how this team, including the other four, came about. All right, save for one who unfortunately lost the elections on the day of the elections. However, but he was part of us in terms of our committee era. So then we sat down. I think our first meeting, Hamalapa, right? And then we decided on, I think it was a 30 minutes quick meeting. Guys, can we quickly jot what we're going to focus on when we go into office? Because these guys are knowledgeable in industry. They know anything and everything to do with the industry. So coming together with a manifesto took a good 30 minutes. And then we gave it to Rapula, the vice chair, to just polish it highly, and we refined it at the next meeting. So the group on WhatsApp that he referenced earlier came from about 5. And then Bai Longkhor later decided or indicated reasons as to why they cannot contest. We had to bring in other guys, and that's how it has brought in Bovins. And then we went for elections on the 30th of April. Against almost three lobby lists. For the very first time, these elections were quite historic in that the attention and the publicity around the elections and the interest there. It was like a political general election in terms of the interest and the excitement, the hype.
No, I saw it.
Guys traveled all the way from Bohansibo Mount to come cast a vote. Bolivar Cross, you can imagine. Budlamini Gomoshupa, they were there. As 7 in the morning all the way up until 7 in the evening.
I think it was an important time because, like you say, it was the first elections ever since COVID. So people are now thinking about how to move forward because the previous committee, I guess, because promoters were complaining that they weren't getting money when musicians were getting money during Nakwil. I don't know if you guys were versed in it because we had a group. How was promoters able to survive?
No, but it was bad, bro. I remember, hear me out. I remember at some point, Keloko Maiseke, bro. Kelola 2.51. Are you with me? Now, and the reason why I decided to join is because I'm tired of hustling. Are you with me? This industry has made us to look and feel like hustlers.
Yeah.
When some of us have actually gone to school.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't go through school. We went to school.
Yeah.
So yeah. So when you get to certain places now, you get to hustle for 2.5.
Hey, dog.
It throws you to that level. You are not deserving.
Yeah.
I remember criteria, you know, before COVID, you had a show in a contract. Bro, that thing do you deserve this 2.5?
2.5 dog.
Now you have to lie and fabricate stuff. Quotation telling they are so fucking unnecessary.
Yes.
If you allow it.
It's a fine dog. Hey, man, I know the embarrassment that comes with that.
Do you understand? Hey man, say you are not supposed to be here. That is what we went through during COVID.
Yeah.
Now I made a conscious decision. Okay, I don't want to be part of BEPA in terms of committee, but because of the things that I went through, and because I don't want young budding promoters to go what we went through,
hell, man,
I had to be part of this. You know, so we went in, and we are still crafting. You know, in the next 3 years, we want to reflect back and say, we didn't see the value of being part of this, but it was worth every cent that we've put into the thing.
I want to ask about the duration. 5 years alone, for how long?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Who came up with that? Why are others on for 5 and you guys are on for 2?
That is why, Kere, in a kgatlo re tsena mo goreng dilo di tshwantse go nna ka ha di tshwantseng go nna ka teng. And remember, Lebadi,
yes,
you are dealing with the government here.
Yeah.
You know, o khona go propose a sengwe se se yang go radio after 3 years. You understand? So we need a longer period.
Yeah, but 2 sounds short.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me take it to you, because, you know, you're the elder statesman when it comes to the city promotion. You've stuck it out, man. Like, and that's when our industry started moving away from being a little bit of a hustle.
Yeah.
You know, in Nangaroke, we're legitimate businessmen.
Yeah.
People are able to, like, provide for their families. They're able to make some money.
Yeah.
Where do you think things went to shit? Apart from COVID here.
Yeah.
Where do you think promoters and artists, because like you guys used to provide for the artists and you were able to pay them as well. Where do you think between promoters, because it seemed like artists blame promoters for everything. Where do you think things went bad?
I don't think Renali the issue the artist.
Yeah.
One of the most important things that with our just few engagements we've had since we've been in office is to try and make the stakeholders to understand gore BEPA is like an umbrella body of other associations.
It's HR.
Okay.
Because we hire all these different talents.
Service providers.
And service providers.
Yes,
be it sound guy, be it artists, be it DJs,
culinary arts, design,
everything comes together.
Yeah.
Everything comes together because somebody like me, him, we conceptualize and then put our money and then look for people to partner with us who are interested. If they don't come on board, we still go ahead with the idea.
Yeah.
Which is what Khwabo was saying. You understand?
Yeah.
We've experienced the same thing. It's not an easy path. But a promote unless a promoter didn't pay you for your services. But otherwise, for us, we are not competing with artists, but we are creating job opportunities for them.
Yes, sir.
And we felt like we were hard hit before COVID. It was the time where Puso in a introducer I introduce it a conversation. You know, there's this thing where a leader is supposed to be careful to what he says, because what you say
is what goes.
People, it's when I believe we believe or can't take in care who leswe maybe I will on that. Do you understand? And then go nagana the issue ya bojalo mo di eventing, which then Puso then was ebe go beniwa di bojalo ko mabale football be le rona mo di eventing gore the sponsors that you are talking about Zabo Mascom, who were popping in a lot of money into our events, because then people perceived what the leadership doesn't like alcohol. So they didn't want to seem as they are propelling or supporting that is the stance of the government at the particular point. You understand? So that is when we lost a lot of investment from these private organizations that were supporting us. So we lost business from them.
Because of that. Because that I think that nightlife, because even the clubs closing at 2 a.m.
Yes.
You can imagine the bars close at 12. Who's going to spend $150 for 2 hours?
Yeah.
But you see, I remember bo news no roto mo news bo ya lizard mo ya bo fashion kana ing one tlhaloga. So it was a good ecosystem in Espana for the nightlife. If you host an event, you know hore people will still attend. That is why we're able to host even our pre-parties body club. But then that died and it affected everything. It was that trickle down effect. It affected single. Now the artist be similar deal.
But you see, the other thing, Lebadi, and thank you, Tez. The other thing that we've been struggling with for the past 20 years, I'll be candid with you. The creative industry, mochae etsewa as a nice thing to have. It has never really been considered as a business. That is why the way Honzinka got thing. And that is why Hosna continuity. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thirdly, our market is extremely unforgiving. One genuine mistake by a promoter, you know your next comeback is almost impossible.
Hey man.
Yes. So it's a highly judgmental space. But most of us, if not all of us, we are first-time generational entrepreneurs. So we are bound to make a lot of mistakes. Unintentional, we find ourselves here. That is why event the next year isule. Fourth, we are starting from zero, literally. Na going to similar event, zero
budget.
Zero budget. So you are facilitating all these things based on ticket sales. Na go zedi bilo wa di mile madiagale badi ko event ngwe hemela mo molaleng wa gagwe wa batla, and you know, so you have very little room to maneuver. And the whole experience that you want to that you want to create, and the market confidence, let alone just to bring in a sponsor, and more to under budget for any event. Wa go corporate X wa hokopa 1 million. That could give a detailed proper return on investment for a sponsor. Okay?
If they reply you.
Now hear me out. If they reply, we'll get to that.
To get a response.
Maybe 100,000 from a budget 1 million. they can only give you 100,000. Okay, one. And that is the 100,000 that you don't have, Lebadi. Wa tlhoka, wa tsa. Okay? And now these packets the whole event doesn't change now to suit the 100,000. Baba tla tlholo ya 1 million at 100,000.
Yeah.
So you are bound to mess up.
And picking up from what Vince was saying,
Yes, sir.
you know, I wish there could be this culture where corporates and interested parties could always believe and see the vision from inception. Because what we see as a culture, and it's been a culture for more than 2 decades, for as long as I've been in the industry.
Yes.
And the companies or partners or sponsors, they come on board when you are on the 5th or 6th. And even when they come in, most of the time, but
that's why I'm always wondering though, Honor, why is there not a full commitment to the concept of saying every other day? What seems to be the problem in those boardrooms and those meetings? Because you've had a lot of success in that department, and I'm going to come to you about that as well. You know, because of recent, you guys have been getting a whole lot of success for your gigs, which we absolutely love. But then you see a clap your hands falling on the wayside after reaching the milestone about 10 years. What is so hard for us to
Kore, I get it. When you present an idea, I don't know if maybe we don't understand the language in the boardroom, which I believe we try by all means to do our research, because you can't put up a proposal before you do an extensive research on the company that you are targeting, look at where they are and their marketing rollout, to say which services they want to promote at a particular point, and how you can bring it into your space and make sense, so that there's synergy. Because you don't want to see this brand it's just aloof and then
Yes, sir.
so the most important thing that we want to change as the new committee is to make sure that we have an honest conversation with all the stakeholders that we feel they can be key players in our space. That's the most important thing.
Can I be the devil's advocate? Now I want to take the bullet for promoters. Because look, man, we've been taking punches for too long. One of the things that I personally feel is the biggest stumbling block to the event space, from an HR point of view. A lot of times, people who are receiving proposals, they are not supposed to be there in the first place. These proposals are assessed by people, they lack imagination. They lack the zeal. They lack the drive. And let alone, they just want to tick the box. They are there by virtue of employment. If we had the right guys, they would ask the right questions. They would engage. They would critique the proposal. And don't tell me about how busy you are in the office. Because at the time when you are applying for that job, you can work under the pressure. Are you with me? So for as long as you are in the office, go through that proposal. Give it the much needed attention.
That's what I'm always trying to figure out. Do they really even read these things?
No, they don't.
The issues here, Scar, okay? Why would a network provider in the country, which is supposed to support existing podcasts, sponsor them, think of establishing their own podcast? Let's begin there. Why would you have a bank which is supposed to support promoters put together their own event? Do you see what I'm talking about? And the same bank is a bank or the same network company, they are receiving thousands of proposals or beverage companies from promoters. Because we go there thinking they're going to put money. What Vince and Tez have been talking about is entirely to do with capital from the private sector, which is not there. All right. Frankly speaking, I would be the first to maybe accept the fact that maybe the way in which we approach them as promoters sometimes might not be the best possible way intended. But however, I've seen so many proposals put in by our people, promoters.
A lot.
And to this day, none of them. In fact, you'd go to a point where some of them that are operating regionally, you'd have to go to their head office in South Africa, get audience from them in South Africa, and then tell these guys who are seated in offices in Botswana, give them a directive to say, sponsor that event at this amount of money. And they'll throw in a ridiculous amount of money, which our people in Botswana think it's wayward.
I will give you an example where the advertising agency is based in Nairobi. They're having a meeting with also agencies that thing in South Africa.
Yeah.
And then also on the call is the sales and marketing manager of X company.
Yeah.
I'm listening to this Kenyan dude and this South African lady tell me what to do. This nigga is just keeping quiet. Already say,
just this December, I had an international artist say to me, look, I've got these brands that are operating in Botswana. Never ever whatsoever sponsored any event in Botswana. Say to me, they're on the 13th edition of a music festival they're putting together in SA, and these guys are always happy to support them. All right? But they're here in Botswana. And none of our promoters have benefited from these guys. Unfortunately. You see what I'm talking about? This guy is saying to me, listen to this. I've booked someone to come perform in Botswana. I've paid them from my hard-earned money. This guy is saying to me, no, but it's okay, don't worry. What I can do for you is that I can bring the sponsor to support your show.
You know my mind is working right.
What is this? so the long and short of it is this. Look, I think what is happening is
I saw him mix. I remember you booked him and I saw his mix, and they had everyone there. Sanel, they had Kabza, they had that young lady. And I was telling my DJ friend, but and it's okay for Kennedy because he's a really, really good, competent producer. But you see these guys doing such big events in South Africa, but
it's shocking. I'll tell you this, okay? You would have Vince put together his event, get to these guys, ask for sponsorship, all right? These guys, they don't sponsor Vince. They take the very same idea that Vince channeled to them, they give it to their own. Vince talked about HR of these people that are in charge of going through these proposals that we send to them. All right. My issue is, majority of these guys have personalized these proposals as they come.
And their positions.
Because who the hell is he?
Pass it to my nigga this side.
Give it to my nigga. And we've got, and I'm talking, I'm not,
and it's wrong.
It's been in court.
But do NDAs work in Botswana? Because I remember
NDAs don't work in Botswana.
Out another NDA in a personal.
Yeah.
But what you are basically saying to them is that is
Magu is just typically undermining promoters for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know how. But that's what happens. This is why we had Born and Raised has gone to court.
I know.
On her contract.
Thanks for the hookup with the lawyer. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's the best. Shout out Injira. Look, there's a contract which has been signed by both parties. All we're asking for, can we honor a contract? All right? A whole corporation decides to give the very same contract which they had penned. They came to us under duress because they had certain targets. All right? Which they wanted to achieve. They had a campaign, a promotion which they were running. They then say to us, gentlemen, can we quickly get into this agreement? All right? The same lady we were talking about, Injera, we throw the proposal, the contract to her, look, can you go through this contract? Which is why she was quick to say, can we immediately go to court? You see, because this is something that was signed by two parties. Why don't you obliged to what you've agreed.
Over.
It's not only an insult, but it's entirely undermining the creative sector.
Yeah.
Our government today, and I'm happy that we have a new government, and this government has the appetite and interest to even invest in the creative sector.
Yes, sir.
Because they understand that in other countries, it's the creative sector that keeps government and the country afloat.
Definitely.
But you see,
Youth employment, sorry Vince,
Yeah, sure.
youth employment comes from the very same sector.
Yeah.
We've been in the mining sector, okay, we all know what is happening.
Yeah, these guys are showing us.
The agricultural sector, Scar, pick any agriculture show that's coming up or that has happened, okay, 2-3 weeks before or even 4 months down the line.
There was one-
Pay attention to how many sponsors are there underneath their flyer. Crazy. Tell me which show with crazy concepts such as Bonobo back to school, Bo wine in May, Bo born and raised, Bo clap your hands, Bo Khabo Motu. Do you ever see such?
I mean, imagine
we're celebrating our culture. You've got Letation on fleek. Nobody is happy to say, okay, let's go. How this thing?
Yeah.
Agriculture Day, government independence, same thing. But the corporate sector is not coming on.
Yeah.
Okay. In South Africa, they plug and play.
Yeah.
Here, they don't plug and play.
Yeah.
They give you the middle finger.
If they answer you.
O tota ibile gape ba go emela gore wena o tle go go bone and present.
Yeah.
Where if you are really active in your position and you know what you want, you would actually call and say, "Bona, Tez, I go tla ke libile this thing ya gago." And
you're plugged into what's going on.
we are working on this and we want to do this with you. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Just to engage, but nothing of that sort ever gets to happen.
Unless really selective.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
government will set the tone. Okay, and unfortunately, our economy is entirely based on government, and because the new government has the appetite to have crazy investment into the creative sector, our duty now at BEPA is to ensure that we have a robust regulatory framework that would enable a conducive environment. Let's have policies. Let's have legislator that at least will safeguard the creative sector before government puts in money. And once government puts in money, for sure, the private sector will put in money. But where we are, Lebadi, our interest is to have the private sector inject money into the creative sector.
Yes, sir.
This is a sector that we've always turned a blind eye on, but it's a sector that could stimulate the economy.
In a big
Frankly
way.
speaking, if Scar, why do we have government suggest to you how much they must pay you for the work you have done?
Yeah.
Why should government set a base in terms of how much we should pay Scar as promoters?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense.
And the same government is not putting money to us. You see? So this is why there's so much excitement today with the current government that things will change. Why do you have a whole parastatal put together an event which is self-done by them?
Yeah. That's why they call it Konago Shakwa, because you don't have a promoter.
They don't know what they're doing.
Keeps things in check.
But that thing, you're near the sales office, or was it the marketing office, especially in government spaces. Now they've turned into event promoters as well.
Very unfortunate.
Yes.
Very unfortunate.
So, complicated, or okay, are you guys able to then lobby for legislation or no, especially the companies on the promotion? Link between them and the parastatal and the government sector, or if you need, let's say, an event for your thing, you can. We have a Rolodex of a bunch of promoters.
I agree. That's what they do, Scar, when they try to construct schools. That's what they do when they're looking to buy cars. They call guys that are in the business. They make events. We've got promoters who they have sponsored to go to school. Why don't they put money into those? Why don't they put up?
Expand. When foreigners did to come and invest in Botswana, we are happy to facilitate them. We are happy to move mountains for any other person who comes from outside to come and invest, whether cartridge or whatever. We are happy to facilitate them. but Batswana ga ba batle go facilitator Motswana o mong. And you know, when people come from outside, they have this attitude and this tone. That's what they play to.
Yeah.
That is why Batswana, they are not even deserving. So 2.5 ka kgwedi bo go le normal. So we've normalized functioning in a very dysfunctional setup. So until such a time when we hire credible people in certain industries, so that how tla ga uesgerika ba go utlwa gore o diraeng ba go tlhaloganya, and they're happy to build this product that you have. Kore le badi ha ke tla mo office ya gago, imagine ke o hirile your cousins, your brothers.
Yeah.
That is the level of imagination ye ke buang ka yona. Don't look at me and say Aruira wine show. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So until we get to that,
250,000.
do you understand? Aru putile basadi kwa wa ba khothatsa.
You know what?
And the issue engwe e leng gore last year, he had an issue and he asked me to tag along.
Yeah.
And ke a go mention a place at the Nerileko Museum.
Yeah.
He wanted to host a wine show.
A wine show at the museum.
And then the negonale issue gote ga go nwe mo museum. Wa ntlhaloganya. And now my question was, so the company tse dintsi tse tleng di ra di dinara tsa bone and all these other functions here, what's the criteria that you are using? So is it because yaanong ke Motswana o mo lebile o mo tlhaetsa matlo ele Motswana o mong?
Yeah.
And we are very clear, okay, we are going to escalate this issue to a point where because these facilities are developed to be these facilities are developed hore Batswana ba di dirise ba bona, but ha re tlhaloganya hore this
I remember the first time I actually got into the new museum was during Forbes accreditation.
Yeah.
But as a Motswana, we know what you always mumshatim. How I think the only other time that I went, he like that little thing in the but these places are just white elephants saying
hey, megape le one le tsone di function tse leng gore dirwa for Govt or even for parastatals. You find that rona gompeno ana re follow procedure e teng ya gore we need to create the permits. Okay, and you'd find that these government events hadina di permit tseo. So there's just substandard or thing alien there's selective way of doing things when it comes to certain people.
Yeah.
Mari, it's one to apply across.
Yes, sir.
You understand? Okay. So we need to get to a point where we need to get to a point where accountability it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Because
differently because they are civil
and Khwaba is not even getting into detail about le price or a fee that has to be paid. SCAR.
Yeah.
Because how only the events it's maybe from a government perspective.
Yeah.
You would find that only a figure the artist right?
Can I tell you something about that figure? They snuck that figure in. I don't know how that figure really happened. How did you get 10?
Yeah.
No.
Rona, mind you, we are always the last people to be paid.
Yeah. Promoters.
Rona ba organize and events.
Somebody
who khona rena blomile ko lapeng a le couch gate ba potato nyana ba romela ntsare event nyane e swaka e waits e santse se iragale gore a be batho ba tlolela ba nna into that narrative ba tlhaloga mara bona ba sa itse the battles and the fights that we go through.
Yes, sir.
To make sure that even for you guys, we fight those battles to make sure gore di khantse di ntsenyana lo khona go tokagalwa ke diphe rona ha ke go biditse ska o khona go nela quotation ya go 20,000.
Yeah.
And I can pay you that. But ha Govt ena go nela 10, what is he saying? So we need to be supported in that regard. That is why artists mo South Africa was say narrative South Africa, and we say we are business people.
Yeah.
So your investment has to somehow come back to you.
I think this is where our trailer comes in.
What
this is the question that I asked because
Yeah.
the disparity between the payments.
Yeah.
I would never tell another brother what to do with that money, and which is why I always respect Honor. Okay, cool. At least Majita creating employment. I'm from the school of Easy B, where this man gave me $500 because he heard my song on the radio and it was kicking ass. He decided to plug a mic. Kulizadi.
Yeah.
Mari. I don't want to think like Christo saying, I'm just happy he's paying me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then disparity we small line natora. Guys, how is Pori getting 150,000? But wait, let me get it out.
Okay,
cool.
sure.
Hey guys, because it's your money, you have to decide what to do with it. No one is giving you this money. You are the one who's going to end up in 700,000
That's fine.
debt by yourself.
Yeah,
so
that's
you have to make sure we're safe.
Right.
The disparity just got wider and wider and wider. Niggas are getting 150 grand, never mind the flights, never mind the accommodation. He can bring even his sister if he wants, not Pori, but niggas can have an entourage and then they have rooms and then, you know, the flights and stuff. The 10 grand that I probably get, it's not even close. It's not even 10% of what they get. How did we come to a point where disparity? Why is it so big?
Ubona hanga tsaya daire ke in this thing.
Ice block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ke khona go etsa be ke tsena ka ha be ke rekisa $5.
Yeah.
Ha ke a go tsena ko I Tower se be ke a go rekisa 20.
Yeah.
Ha ke a go etsenya ko Grand Palm be ke rekisa 50. You understand?
Yes,
So we place value and you create your own value. So it's not about us.
Yeah.
It's about if I bring Lebadi here. Otherwise, then I would have to say Lebadi, what will charge at 30? Yeah, when I the tickets worth 30,000 direkis. One
Since you want it,
because you see, we put our why. A flopper, kile ka flopper. Mari ke tsentse the best artists and DJs. If that means you are saying onale fan base ekan, and then onale fan base ekan, let's say onale 2,000, onale 500, onale 100. At least te ala ka re ke tsentse mo line up. That fan base ke one ka betsile to my event, but it's not there. Which is why I question this thing ya malatsingano ya gore motho ke an influencer. You can have 100 million followers, but
are you
like can you convert that and monetize it?
Yeah.
You understand? But nna ke khona ra ke re I'm an influencer because ha ke re tlalo apere dikete tsa tennis ko Wimbledon event tsa rap dance ke se ke tla le tennis wa go bona batho ba le tao ba tsile and decent and whatever. You understand? So that is what we are looking for. We use words casually, maar ha re tsene into the intricacy of what we are talking about and get to appreciate gore re batla go achieve him from that.
Yes, sir. You want to no, shoot, but
the very same corporates, you go to them, you're asking for sponsorship. You then say to them, I've got these artists that are coming to perform. I get it. These are indigenous artists. Batswana artists. You know what they say to you? Can you guess? We're not going to put in money into this event if you don't have anybody across the border.
No, so line up
Can I tell you something?
It's hectic.
Do you know that December shows in Botswana have gotten to a point where they would bring in about 6-7 international artists?
I've seen all the way.
Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? To the promoter, this is crazy expensive. And half of the time, you do that without affording to do it. And our people, being the attendants to our shows, this is a simple concept they need to understand. That we need to begin to support homegrown talent before we can cross borders and go to what's happening in other countries. Let me tell you what has happened before. Born and Raised has staged a show in Joburg at Altitude Beach. High-end place.
You
all right?
Ati for that one.
Bo Adi, Bo Hensi, all these guys.
Yeah. That was a great
There was about 12 Batswana artists who went to perform at Altitude Beach. 4 ways Joburg. All right? You know what happened? AKA.
I saw AKA there as well.
Focalista. I don't remember the other two, but these guys were no Maroko Hatema, not Daliwong, the other one. Well, whoever it was. So bo ATI, bo Hensi, bo Lungo, bo Bani, about 10 to 12 of our Botswana artists. We took them there. Bo AKA were curtain raisers. AKA performed at 7.
I was looking at the live.
Focalista performed at 8. They performed back to back. Got rid of them because the intention was deliberate. It was, we're going to promote our people in South Africa such that beyond the DJ, so that beyond our shows in Botswana, they would get bookings in South Africa. Because we're also tired of this narrative of bringing in international people.
Yes, sir.
Okay, when we have our people that we could sell our shows to, it becomes cost effective. It becomes easily manageable. But our people, being the guys that are buying tickets to come to our shows, want to see those guys over Scar. They want to see Kespanyor Vest over Scar. You feel me? So we made a deliberate decision to take these guys to South Africa, so as we try to widen the horizon for them. And we asked our people, the people that were paying tax to, that are using our tax, to say, can you support us take these people there? Not even a single cent. We went to the very same companies, they've opened doors in Botswana. They did this money, they were not happy to put even a cent to it. So Hoba uses his own money, money that should be paying my kids' school fees, to try support the industry in South Africa. Do you see how painful this thing is? It's not like we, even as promoters, it's more it's consumer behavior. Our people, if we are agreeing to say, if we're to say we've successfully brought about changes in the industry, this consumer behavior of buying tickets on the last day, it's very unfortunate, because our people who attend our shows, but corporates who would give you 30,000, 100,000 to foot a bill, 1.5 million. Do you see what I'm talking about? And then somebody, like you were saying, is seated at the comfort of his house. Okay, they go on social media to talk shit about our show. It's very painful, because you're running the risk of civil imprisonment, which has happened to some of us.
Defaming event there, pretty much. That's what you're doing.
Absolutely.
With all of these many followers that you have, what are you trying to do?
Absolutely. You see what I'm talking about? We're killing ourselves. Right.
But then, okay.
Let's sabotage the other promoters.
But
feels left out sometimes. I think most of the time, this influencer space that we're in is and I blame some of the corporates, because they just see numbers. But like you say, how many people are they influencing to actually do anything? You know what I mean? To help promote that show. That's when they put up those
VIP, right? And this, and I think all of them can attest to this. Company X. Then narara go lumisa gore no tla mo guy VIP cause ke the decision maker ba tla go bloma, and mind you mo VIP,
and it's a cost to me.
It's a huge cost, right? But we want to make sure that you are comfortable and you get to experience what I'm doing, right? Then how to ho le monate drinks di ira bana ba le da the organizer ladies here. Mfana bona on check ka Monday re tla go tswala this thing. I think this thing at top wa bona Then what happens Monday? Ke a o founela as per our agreement. Ke a o founela. No, ntwana ke etsa this thing. Ha beke tla go wela. O tsantse o ngai somebody else. Junior office. It's gone.
It's over.
Yeah.
Wa gompona next year gape yanong ebile ga o tlabiwe ke ditlhong wa mfounela kante mfeto ira ya mfeto kana we should be part of this thing. You understand?
I hear you.
So there's so much fake love.
Yeah.
We are getting from there.
Yeah.
And we wish that could change.
Yes, sir.
You understand? And we are not here to try to bash anyone, but we want to set the record straight and improve how we work, because we all we have is our Botswana, all we have is our people, and we can only make it better by making the sound decisions.
This thing, and also showing people a little bit of what you guys actually experience as individuals, promoters as well. As also by are creating employment from sound to you guys create so much employment in this space. I think it's also for people to actually have a real understanding of what goes into it. That is not really the truth about how we interact as musicians and promoters. We're all in this together, but sometimes do you guys think that we should change the laws, especially
common nuisance permit?
No, how about balance samadi ka gore ka onela semamambo kana ke permit kana I don't know if it's a permit.
No, permit to involve my best. We involve our best. Yes, we involve our best. We involve Mosa, which is Ministry of Sports and Arts, and then we involve Le Bylaw Council. So four. These are the stages, and then
Ministry of Labor. Plus Ministry of Labor. Yeah.
So they don't need to do all of this.
No, they don't do it. It's their event. They don't do it.
But Rona,
we pay crazy.
Rona, we have to.
Can I tell you something? You can invite anybody from BTO. I think we should name. All right, we should be very direct. Invite anybody from BTO. Okay. Everybody they bring into the country, go to Mosa. Check what permits they are doing. Go to Cosbots. Check who they have paid.
Because now I don't believe them.
These things, Labadi, it's as though they are meant for the promoters to fail in the country. It's very unfortunate. I'll tell you, there's quite a lot. But I'm happy that the committee that has since been voted into power, because they are alive to these realities.
You lived it.
With crazy experiences. I can tell you now, 6 months down the line, the necessary noise and the necessary change which is needed and desired by anybody in this country, yourself as an artist and the promoters as well, will be felt thick and heavy. All right, I think we've talked. It's enough. I think it's time for action. That is when we're going to see things gravitate towards what our desires are and gravitate towards building the creative sector and making it a contributor to the country's GDP. All right, because where we are today, worldwide, it's the creative sector that's sustaining governments. Fact. Definitely. All right? Labadi, when we're running for elections, we're running under the theme corporatizing the creative sector. We're trying to change the informal hustle to formal hustle. This is where we're going to document anything and everything that we're involved or that we do. Have a gentleman's agreement. We to a certain degree, though minimal degree, we have ourselves to blame because we have not been doing things the way we should be doing things.
We wanted
this
to
is
survive.
why we can't pursue any matter even before the courts.
That's why I think when you're desperate, you can't negotiate.
No, you can't.
Absolutely.
You don't negotiate with a
We've been reduced to beggars. And purely it's because of the narrative that's been there about the creative sector. You see what I'm talking about?
The license noise and nuisance.
So what nonsensical? Are you saying what nonsensical? Imagine someone saying the body who's going to perform, The noise and the sound he's making is nonsensical. Isn't that disrespect?
I want to move you guys a little faster on,
Yeah,
as well, because like some of these issues, we can't deal with all of them because they are personal to us. So getting a flashback in here. I want to talk about the
Trauma, Papa.
when we talk about like the Department of Broadcasting Services, just a couple of years ago, that's not a couple, it's 2 or so years ago. You know,
we need a strong one, eh?
Yeah, no mix.
They introduced.
I started seeing. I started seeing adverts for events. The DBS logo.
Yeah.
The Department of Broadcasting Services. What is that? Is the department bringing out money so shows happen? How did the Department of Broadcasting Services get into the business of promoting gigs?
No.
I'm really asking from a dumb position. Like I don't know. I started seeing a lot of that happening.
They were buying content.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So when the logo is there, this means they come and shoot at your show.
Yeah, the idea was stimulating the creative sector.
Okay.
Beautiful idea.
I'm all for it, but I don't think all the shows were on TV.
The pain is the execution.
Yeah.
Implementation usually is a challenge in Botswana. We all know this.
Yeah.
The idea is good, brilliant.
Yeah.
The execution is a pain.
Okay.
Even worse, who's at the forefront of it?
Yes.
You get it?
I hear.
Sometimes you're going to give this opportunity to somebody who doesn't have interest to the many people that should benefit. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. You're trying to introduce Bezeri, but and then one thing leads to another. Because you don't have a criteria as to who you're giving it to, then it follows that however it's going to be implemented as a fuck up.
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about?
So it became messy.
It became very messy. There was no criteria as to who benefits, who doesn't.
At what level?
At what level? Yeah. How do we segment shows to give them description at the very least, which would ultimately bring about an idea of criteria? You see what I'm talking about? So part of the reason why,
no, you are guys, because I'm thinking if there's money to be spent in gigs, this means this puts yourselves and also your service providers at ease.
You know what you said?
There's an injection, and we cooperate at least here's a government department that's willing to do.
Yeah, you know
something.
What what you just said. You said you haven't seen those shows on TV.
Nah.
It questions the implementation aspect of it.
Or who's supposed to schedule them?
Yeah. And today's car, please forgive us. Can we not go into because otherwise it will taint what we're trying to engage on.
You know what the thing about us is?
But this is what I'm just going to point out, right? Lona, because you guys, Tabaza TV.
Yeah.
You'll understand how Rekisa the right. It's let's say a 24 minutes lifestyle show.
Yeah.
It has a standard charge.
Yes.
Right? So you can't say a show that is going to be an event that is going to be documented for 24 minutes across. Worry honale small, large and medium. I don't know if you get it.
This is for the payout.
Yeah.
Okay, this is we can put this one here. We can put this one here.
You are essentially seeking for 24 minutes.
Yeah.
So if it's 24 minutes, it has to be the same figure across.
Yeah, it's 24 minutes for everyone.
Yeah. So now, if you are going to say show yagatezi 20 a small show because it's a lifestyle show. Festival it's a big show. That means so what more the payout that is made towards your event.
Yes, sir.
So that essentially means your show 200K because it's a big show. Mari, all these large, small and medium, they are 24 minutes on TV. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So that means the buyer paid for 24 minutes for all the shows.
Yeah.
But you are saying my show is small, you are giving me 20,000. you are giving yearly. You see,
200.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
that makes sense. It's not like there's a board that sits there and decides. Who decides? Who does the money come from?
Caesar, I asked, and I'll continue asking. May we not get to the nitty-gritties?
Come on, Baba, don't do this to me.
May we not get to the nitty-gritties? Because look, it's a noble idea, beautiful.
Yeah.
We want it back, okay? But we
So they
want
took it from you guys?
no, it's done. The contract elapsed.
How fucking convenient? What?
Absolutely.
Wait a minute.
No, I get it, like a contract, you can sign a 2-year contract, right? So I think what he's saying is
it's done.
And then we have to now
it's
sit
done.
and discuss going forward.
There's an opening for renegotiation.
No, we're trying
want it differently.
We're trying to initiate that.
What are you trying to change?
We're trying to close the chapter.
Okay, let me ask it this way: what are you trying to change in that agreement if there's a possibility to renegotiate?
First and foremost, criteria.
Yeah.
Or how do you pick who to give what?
Promoters must own the criteria.
Eh.
It should not be dictated upon promoters.
Yes, sir.
It should not be given to Sky Investment Pty Ltd.
Yeah.
When there's a whole association.
Also, there's a company. All right.
There's a company involved that's been given this tender. Can I deal with Sky? Sky.
Don't give me the broadcaster. I want the home.
Scar, let me tell you something, okay? There is
morning show for that.
there is a company that was given this contract to run this thing. Yeah. All right.
Why
the company pitched. I want us to be fair.
Okay.
Both to the company and both to the Department of Broadcasting.
Yeah.
The company pitched a different idea.
Yeah.
And then in between execution of the idea that they were contracted for, there was this idea of let's engage promoters to execute the certain aspects to this, so as was seen to be supportive of the creative sector.
I loved it because I knew niggas don't have enough dough. Like you say, zero budgets all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, something say like
but the dependency and desperation made the whole thing messy. But the sums of money that's been talked to and the sums of money that has gotten to promoters.
It's not make sure.
You know, you're unattractive to a woman when you sound desperate. That type of thing,
baby. All right, so with the company, because man, we haven't named anyone, but this is like close to what taxpayers' money. I'm saying DBS. I'm thinking government. I'm thinking the department. I'm thinking about mass media building. I'm thinking. Because the promoter need all the help that they can get. I didn't know there was a middleman in between. Then who decides this show will get 30 grand, this will get 100, this will get 200,000. Have they been transparent about? Can I ask the outgoing committee? Have they been transparent about what was spent, and have they been transparent to you guys as was their handover?
Lebadi, when I started this podcast. And I want you to pay attention.
Yeah.
We have been functioning in a very dysfunctional setup.
On purpose, or niggas just are not bright? Or
no, we're oblivious. We're oblivious of things.
Yeah, we know how
very oblivious.
How for too long can't normal. So how abona go siame, okay? Abona go siame gore o duele 5,000 pula for your talent. That automatically disregards, it disqualifies you for the things that you do and what you are gifted.
It finishes him. It obliterates you completely.
It puts you on a survival mode. So sepe se sta mo se diragala ha ke ha reporte ke bo ke re ke duetse no ke hirile di promoter a dile 100. That at a government level
is what
it's what is being appreciated. Kababuyeka the value to each.
Yeah. They're looking at it on a macro level.
No. Are you with me?
I'm hearing you.
Ke hirile bana ba le 100. Okay? Now, motiona le imagination. Motio khatala should be able to say bana ba le 100 yan o ba duela bokai each and every one of them. Is it sustainable? Is it fair? Is it
changing
legit?
their lives?
Is it changing their lives? That is why, Autak, it is so difficult to, at the top of your head, to quantify Botswana success stories. Lebadi, when was the last time? Ubona Ferrari hit the hell. Normal day.
No.
Ferrari hella for argument's sake.
No.
Do you understand? That is why. That is why. That is why.
Because the industry is not paying.
Really a wet dream. Because some of us, it's an illusion.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And until we get to a point where we truly and intentionally wants to change the narrative, entrepreneurship, Botswana. Yes.
With Wine in May, did you get funding from the DBS thing?
No, I didn't.
Did you apply for it?
No, it was done then.
It was done then.
Yeah.
How convenient. So, because I'm really trying to figure out, okay, what's the favoritism? Because I'm trying to figure out, you guys came from different places, and then you got together.
Sky's looking for the juice.
He's
looking for the juice.
Because you know what? These things don't belong to these niggas.
No, Ska.
You feel me? There's a lot of young kids out here who are depressed, who are killing themselves, but because they just don't understand. Why is my space, why is my sector not moving forward?
Because people are getting hired.
Was there favoritism in that?
This thing
So there was favoritism. There were people who were being selected. Because like I'm saying, nigga, there has to be something that gets you guys in a position to try and change Muso. What got you guys to put your resources together and your minds together?
Because we are not moving. Do you understand?
Communication in any kind of setup, it's critical. One. And two, when you show respect to the people that you work with and you engage with them, with no high tempers or whatsoever, because a lot of people will seek clarity and they seek clarity in their own way. But you need to be level-headed enough to be able to engage them at that level and make sure that you understand? So that was something that was really missing. And thirdly, the reason why they didn't want to be involved, because we didn't even get to see the contract that DBS had with, or what we are supposed to be getting. It was just tabatabo word of mouth. So
we are tired of that.
The new government doesn't want such things.
No, man.
When we say we want to sanitize or professionalize the business space, the creative business, that is what we are talking about, because we can't do that without having an honest conversation with our members and honest conversation with our stakeholders and anyone who we feel like we want to bring them in our world and move forward with. And mind you, post our elections, the two meetings I went to, we went to, they went to, people are ready to engage. People are saying, we didn't know it's possible that we can work with you. Because what we are preaching right now is collective bargaining.
For our members.
You understand? Because if I go to any organization, we have 60 national BEPA events. The dates are the promoters, their emails, but we are speaking for them as BEPA. We want you to bring, maybe give us 5M, and then we see how we place your product and your services within these listed events. Because then we hold them accountable.
Yes, sir.
We have our guidelines of Rebereka Jang, Harebereke Jang.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I mean?
I feel that.
Yeah.
Professionalism and transparency, so that everyone knows what they're walking into.
Unlike Kineki negotiate like one. It makes business sense when it's collective bargaining.
I can tell you now that the creative sector is solid. We have since come together It's a new dawn. We have new people at the forefront of the promoters. And we're going to start to see new things. And we're going to start to do things in a new way. And we're going to get our promoters and members entirely and heavily involved where we are.
I want to ask that about anyone who's not registered as a member right now, because we've got like these really young kids who are now starting to push, especially about live music, your Perfect Noises of the world. I don't know if T-Money is registered Moyone, your Drew channel of this world.
Before you attract a woman,
yes, ma'am,
a woman must see at the very bare minimum something interesting about you, something attractive.
Yes, sir.
It's deliberate that we've got the members that we have today. We're happy with the members. What we want to do is it's nationwide. All the 4 cardinal points of the country are represented. We've got at least people, members from there. However, it's not to say we have touched and tapped on anybody and everybody. We want to obviously go out on a membership drive campaign. How we're going to do it is we want to do it where these members or prospective members will see something attractive to associate.
The value.
Let me tell you something, Scar. At a high level. Hariwaga Promoters Association. The film guys are involved. The graphic designers are involved. Guys who cook, because people who attend our events, they eat. They have to eat something. So culinary arts is involved. Our artists, Scar, how we correct? So guys who are into fashion, costume designing are involved. The guys who do branding are involved. I'm basically trying to say to you, outside the National Arts Council of Botswana, an association that's close to that, that's near that, is the Botswana Entertainment Promoters Association. Purely based on the fact that what we do on a day-to-day involves all these arts. Correct? So we're starting there. All right? We want to attract any of these under our arm. And then where we are, we're actively engaging with government and the private sector. Why? We want to bring them solutions. We want all our events to be insured. All right? We've got cover.
Back to school.
We want to even gravitate all the way down to the individuals themselves being our members. Our members are affiliated through companies.
Oh, okay.
So we want to gravitate all the way down.
That's also good, though.
I feel it's amazing.
Good. So guys can register that company.
Absolutely. So now what we want to do, we want them to also be covered. We want you, Scar, to have a dignified burial in the event you pass on. You see what I'm talking about? We don't want a situation where, let us count what do you expect? We can cast. These gentlemen and lady have put together a comprehensive manifesto which speaks a lot to do with how we're going to corporatize, how we're going to do collective bargaining, how we're going to go on a nationwide drive, how we're going to which is membership driven. We want everybody associate such that when we go to government and say to government, this is what we need to do, then we know what we're talking about. A certain parastatal has a national events calendar. How they get involved and how they get involved and how they sponsor, it's another conversation for another day. I, for one, have never, even while I was taking people outside the country. So we very soon, I think sometime this week, we'll release our national events calendar. That's where we're beginning.
Sometimes I don't understand like why people always want to associate themselves with things saying or they don't contribute to making that.
Very unfortunate.
Including even like politicians use us so much at their rallies. But the minute it's over, they look the other way. We're competing for front pages.
I'll tell you now. We are very much aligned with today's government. The fact that they've got interests us to work. All right? Now we're going to use the very same government to change the policies in place. Some which don't make sense completely outdated.
No,
they've run irrelevant. No, these ones are blind. They're irrelevant. What's up? So now, similarly, we will use the saying to enact laws that would also mean to these companies, the private sector.
Yeah.
By longer bajamadi arona basa busise mogorona. Can I tell you, do you know that Born and Raised has built about 3 houses for the needy? Houses for the needy. The creatives are what's up? Born and Raised. Can I continue?
No, seriously.
Born and Raised.
Go for it, Papa. Go.
Born and Raised has adopted a primary school. What's been happening about our primary schools currently? The status of our primary schools. All right, and we're going to be. I think very soon we're going to be revealing thing like a playing ground.
Jungle gym.
Yeah. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. How with the COVID we contributed 20,000 pula, contrary to Kiboraskan. Do you see what I'm talking about? So I can ask you now, of the many corporates that we do know that are eating our money, operating in our country, in terms of corporate social responsibility, what have they done? What have they built for who? All right.
Ren Nicholas Zakam was here saying the same thing.
At the time when
billions. People are taking construction billions and then they don't do anything. Especially
there's a time I was doing a research for one project that I wanted to do, CSI, right? Yeah. So I went and then looked at all the annual reports to the company, to the Botswana, right? And I realized that there's a page, CSI A1, document as a company what they've done that financial year. And you'd find that the project is they are not sustainable. Yeah. This is one particular group of companies. The impact, the return, the profits that they made that year. Ridiculous. They set aside around 3M, right? Mari profits anybody really 1 point something billion. Do you understand? At the time. So my question
that's
is
1,000 million.
So my question is so how do I level why is it that maybe government deliberate about their decision to say the companies or maybe foreign national companies they are level because you know, and you are implementing this at the very highest level. Yeah. You are just doing it just to tick a box because there are no policies maybe in place to do that.
Yeah. Or to avoid tax.
If they were doing that, what the 10% of 1.3 or 1.3 billion that would be close to 103 million. Yeah. And my dear in the creative
into the economy.
You understand? And then government, and other things. And then government relax a bit if this part is taken care of, I can take this other side and develop the country. Yeah. Do you understand? Hey, Mare, if BTV the last time Baraka content, I think it's been about 3-4 years back. Yeah. Mind you, if you look at the buying pattern BTV, if they were to buy content, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. It means that the whole value chain,
job.
Makeup, in drive, makeup, busy, who employer the creatives balekai at that particular time. But higher on Naisa for a good 4 or 5 years, it means the industry is dead. Yeah. Now, the majority of our population, I see youth.
Youth. And give on
and if you think, and these are the same guys who are voting.
These are the very same people who are very creative. Yeah. But they are looking for spaces that they can operate. It's a nice
thing to have.
Shout out Lolo.
You see, everybody, we really need to change how things are, because a lot of times corporates, how it like hey, we say this thing rata, it falls within our CSI. Dude, I'm not a charity case.
First of all.
Yeah. this product that I'm bringing to you, let's speak to your commercial side of things. And I think sometimes the word sponsorship,
is misconstrued to charity.
To charity.
Instead of
We could
partnership,
speak to partnerships, collaborations.
and
Charity.
I hope you guys are listening.
I'm
Stop
not-
putting sponsorship on the RE at the top there. Just
So now the new BEPA
That's
committee
what we all
now
do.
speaks to collective bargaining. The proposal it tla simolla go tsena go corporate wise and whatever. They are go tsena through BEPA. Speaking for our members.
Yeah.
So that when you seek a return on investment, you see it through this event.
throughout the year.
Throughout the year for traction. Ha le gore o na le campaign ye o batlang go e rana, you don't see it through the lens of one event. You see it as a campaign.
Differently.
So that when you sit and present to the board gore nyame ke netse BEPA 5 million. Ke netse BEPA 5 million, it's go ntla like 40 million. This is where we are going. This is where we are moving towards.
Definitely.
Secondly, we want to take business away from the government, where there is too much control. I'll tell you what. Ha governmente a itirela the events. Okay?
Yeah.
Service providers tend to charge more. They charge more.
Yeah, ke re wa itea go procurement go
Yes.
simolla ko.
Go simolla, they charge more
Ra tseba.
rather than hand ba dilale promoter. Okay, if BEPA facility
optimize things.
to
Of course.
optimize.
Yeah. And work on a minimal budget.
Do you understand? Everybody else benefits. You are changing lives. You are saving on wastage. Yep, the current president Abigail could besides corruption. There is wastage.
There's wastage.
Pricing.
Pricing.
The VP is talking about that every day.
At this level.
Because we mark up when we deal with government.
Absolutely. You triple the cost.
Triple it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Me current state as a government a rona ha gona zaka.
Yeah.
So we are coming with ways
The solution.
To save money for the government, to make money for our members.
Yeah.
Le go change matshelo a bona.
Yeah.
and
That's
to
it.
apply our creative minds. Mind you, all our members, I respect them because mongwe le mongwe wa bone sat down and came up with a unique idea.
You
You understand what I mean?
Crazy idea.
Who's this is the
Crazy idea.
You
There is
understand?
so many of these.
Yeah.
African mall e na busy.
Dog.
Mateisi a rekisiwang, di tailora.
But
But have you seen something on Lebadi? One of the things that we are also failing, and I always look at Batswana. Bana le gore ha ba itebetse ba re kante ke re sena Coachella ron.
Yeah.
Trust me, we could easily have those.
Yeah.
We have those.
Yeah.
But the problem is that we don't want to invest in those.
Yeah.
What is with the private companies though? Do you guys think, are you guys going to lobby for law, for
Kore ke
legislation?
batla go wela happily before tsena ho, because the most important thing is if you don't see the vision and you look at my event as an event, then it's a non-starter for you
Yes.
as whatever body you are to invest in this. Do you understand?
Yeah.
For example, right now we're in a levy on technical devices, the fund they are thing. This is the fund they leng gore ha di oditswa ko ntle. Tse leng gore gadgets and whatever.
They tax you.
They tax you. E be go tsewa create a levy ya thing, right?
Yeah.
Levy eo e diretswe gore go tile e disadvantage about in the creative space because you are bringing
Entertainment with other
products and gadgets outside,
Yeah.
which in a way they could have been done locally, right? So that man, ke madi a mantsi mo go maswe. I think you guys have seen it last year. Go te batho ba kwa le ba reng.
No, I know a couple of niggas who got some.
Yeah, me ga ise ba kry no.
It's close to a year.
Yeah, so but what we're saying is one, wa go tlela ile gore rona ba ileng gore we are driving the creative business. We don't have a say in that.
Yeah.
One tlhaloganya.
How does it get given
So that is where we are saying we need, as a new committee, to harness the opportunities that are there
For our members.
and have these honest conversations with whoever we have to.
How many people smoke kwai that contribute to the tobacco levy?
Good event in Zaron. Alcohol levy.
Alcohol
We're
levy.
still talking levies, right?
Well, at
Gambling authority.
back to school, you've got 20,000 people. You had born and raised Khabo Moto. You have 20,000 people there drinking alcohol.
Buying the choirs.
We have none whatsoever input in.
And how it gets disseminated.
Imagine.
Maralao lebeletse during the Honali event, the social, economic benefit that we create on the day, from accommodation, transportation, liquor stores around. These guys, they even said to us, but guys, why don't you get these guys to sponsor you? Because event you understand?
Ice.
But ice, everything. They sell out. But they don't see the value of being part of.
Because we have hired the wrong people.
Policies, wrong people.
Wrong people.
But you know what I like about how, because I've been in the game for a long time, but you guys are making me see.
And you don't have a Ferrari.
Of course.
In a different way.
Of course.
I
love Ferrari.
I
should
love
be driving a Ferrari.
I love POV.
Idols.
No, I'm not having one yet. You know what I love about talking to you guys right now is perspective. Because I think sometimes our imagination, like I was saying, is always sometimes can be your biggest enemy if you are not able to imagine beyond your
what you see
situation. I would have never put BEPA on my show.
Can I tell you something?
Feel me? Because I have personal friends within the one that just passed by. But people are people. People will always look out for self. So I wasn't about to entertain all of that when I saw that it was very, very. It was corrupt, for lack of a better word. And so to my niggas, man, I fall a line. But I felt it was very, very corrupt.
Did you ask him about the audit?
No. Oh, there's an audit. Thank you. So I just felt like it was. They were choosy. They picked the same guys, and the little shows got bonoboma two tigers. So I was just feeling like, you know what, Tato, sometimes. So I had a mood until I think there was a time Lizibo forced me to get into crossboards. Because you can't do any change when you're outside. You know what I mean? So that's why I respect your view of it, because you guys got in and are trying to make a real change. So that's why you guys have
to be Bomolo.
No, come on, meeting of course. So with the audit, what did you guys find? What did you guys find that you realize this is something that needs to change?
Lebadi,
No, I'm ready.
What was the difference? What were they getting wrong? What do you think? And this is not about the individuals, It's about what was going wrong, and what opportunities did we miss to make people empowered?
This new committee is forward looking. There are so many things that we need to.
Why do
we are forward looking. We want to sanitize the industry. Okay?
Just that word again, sanitize.
Yes. We want to speak for our members. We want our members to benefit. We want our members to own property. Okay? We want our members to be respected. Because they're doing business. We want to put things back on track. This is where we are. It's the audit, it's work in progress. But the expectations are high. We get the durable ruling, and the vote that was casted in our favor said, guys, we are catapulting you. You need to start running. And somewhere along the line, we are going to fight very serious battles that we've never fought before, because we are inside. we are speaking to the government to change the narrative. That whilst you are seated on that table, making key decisions, think of your children. Babantsing ko lapeng. Ba sa iresepe. Me ba itse go opela. Me ba itse go taka. Me ba itse go apaya. When a promoter comes to you, when BEPA comes to you, ere ke na le 100 events ketse. Tse ke batlang we inject a capital mo go bone. Imagine how many lives we are going to transform. Gompieno ana, just today, there was a big halabaloo around Bono scheme.
Housing,
Bono housing scheme. Bro, that house to me, I'm 41. I'm 41 and I don't have a house. Lebadi. That house, for me, it's a launch pad.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. And this is the launch pad. This new committee, Lebadi, is a launch pad for so many promoters. To say, guys, I'm emotional, my guy.
I know, Papa.
I'm emotional for some of the guys. Hear me out. I'll tell you. For some of the guys,
I love these guys.
This sort of privilege. And speak for other people.
Definitely.
We need to change how we think. We need to change how we imagine our country. Right now, the country is at a dire need where diamonds are not even performing.
Who would have ever thought?
You understand?
But our artists are ready to perform.
We have so much human capital.
See what I did there?
I saw that. I have a
we do the other diamonds.
We have so much human capital. It has never been harnessed. The president wa Botswana currently, why ikaparela? But na le sokola la gore ke nga appreciate it.
It's art.
What is this?
What's this?
Guys, we need to change how we see things.
Yes, sir.
If mona appreciate it, ibe go tsenya le sokola, then it shows how much you hate yourself. And this is how promoters have been viewed. Lebadi, my nigga, I had a wine show this past weekend. Fucking sold out. But I'll tell you for a fact, everybody else, service providers, are paid for. But Nike Vince, I'm the last one to be paid. You know why? Because ko gating kwa majitaba e mbake ba kolotang. Ba di show tse di kwa morago.
Ba bona gore Vince wirleng.
Wa ntlhalogana ba batla. Ene ke a go ba nela. Ha ke tswa ke boela kae? Go go zero. Ke a go simolla go hasela sesha. But I'll tell you, in the next 2 months, o tla bona cooperating o bogote simamang wine show. Instead of saying, Vince, we see you have this vehicle. Can we fuel it? Re kgone go move up from point A to point B. Vince, in the next 3 years, we don't want to sponsor you because now re batla go belega o mong. Bask in my glory and create a beautiful story out of me.
Definitely.
So that in 5 years, you reflect back and say, that is my success story. Until we get to that level of thinking as Batswana, believe you me, between now and then, Bruak, no man.
He's still hot. Ask him about restaurants. He's the right guy.
This is something that I've experienced for a lot of corporates. I read back to school. Nobody ever thought that could be a fashionable thing. Right? It's a thing. I even went to go SIPA at the time in Register of Companies. I go protect this thing because no,
freshly before you get buy DEPA.
Yes.
All these banks at the beginning of the year. That's what they have a thing. They have a Friday where it's back to school.
They say it. But back to school, they even say back to school.
They don't care.
You must sue, man.
batho ne ba sa tlhaloganya gore it's back to school e be ke bitsa ke re back to lala ke tswa go tsena mo Pick n Pay e ha se belele the other time kana ke Pick n Pay kana ke itlela go kodile go te back to lala at the time kana go te back to lala beginning of the year wa ntlhaloganya gore so and ko KBL ko ne ke batlile sponsorship teng be ba go ira ikhalemele
o ne like rona jumpela
ikhalemele o kana ne le slogan sa back to lala tlhabana khalemela back to and we had the song right be ba go ira campaign I went and spoke to the corporate affairs manager at the time in ele my cousin Otumokoro and he said to me na ke boleletse batho ba gore ke itse ka this thing and motho irang is my cousin wa bona and nakwating ha kena zaka ya di lawyer
legal aid, where are you?
Sabobedi
BEPA members need you.
Sabobedi ha ke tsa gore ke irile ka orange ina tsa nakwa re introduce di abbreviations tsa Setswana tsene le go TTV
bo SMS no ona le different I remember
bo KBL bo whatever le rago le tshwere ing wa bona di abbreviation ya tse wa bona so because
LOL
my man you understand
it was a vibe dog
so mataka be ba lo mother thing kana go rara ke repeat the whole of cause nera na 3 months campaign go rara no October November December then 1st of Jan immediately after the event guess what that's the same year I went to China to get the merchandise back to school where the shirt and did check it in le beja le di shorts
beautiful
and the socks now batsa ntwana ka Tokwile ke light ene o santsa ispana ko Orange at the time call center ba mo tsaya o tsena mo adverting o betsa apere di shorts o apere everything sa back to lala ba mo rabarno ke di na they were giving away GTI ke GTI am fit ke in what but the same concept I'm getting people calling me on to le sonya ke gona o hetsa ntulala no Orange jele o popile go popa. You understand what I mean? Now, like that is not enough. Kore ke batla video go te corporate what?
Ke corporate infringement
no ke ne ke batla le go kola teng gore
corporatizing.
Go no ke rape tagari ne ke batla
tagari is serious.
Ha ke tswa ho now I'm doing Wimbledon. It's been 4 years. Where I said, and the concept comes from the back to school
that
after
one we can still go to court.
You understand?
I remember PE.
In Iragalagadi 2 because it was 3 days. Phone batch on the 31st, first back to school, second after party. So I said, I looked at my market because we are very innovative when it comes to how we reinvent ourselves. Event. And I said, okay, my people said about decision maker and maybe they wouldn't like the setup at the festival. Let me move into the space. Nice, it's a lifestyle.
Compacting.
Let me take that concept into because very Wimbledon into a tennis. Very sharp onto it. Now, guess what? For the past 2 years, the company that are making the corporate package
by butchery
by tsaya ba Israeli the theme the Christmas parties and some even call me to say merchandise not the tickets.
No,
you understand what I mean? So this thing it's bad because that is one's IP, which is supposed to be paid for. But if they were dealing in good faith, they would say, listen, can you please come, let's have a sit down, we like your idea, how can we do this thing, or I made this thing, or just said this thing, or manage and more than 5 companies. And they're doing shy away to even call it the same way.
The same thing. But making can now is if you go hustler garona because maybe we've been flying for a long time.
We like somebody who knows you.
Who knows you?
That's who knows what you are doing. Who is expected to do something, and then he gets go facing how they present us because how about go bita. What about guys get sort of a strong or keep on a read rap or aja ka podisaka. You understand? And it's wrong.
So we need to start finding ways to protect the IP Zabana, because like I'm saying, young kids are getting into a deep depression.
You know what you just sounded like? Ebang gucodit, make you want to eat.
I get scared for it because
Listen, my man. Listen.
kids
gents.
are killing themselves.
No,
There's like suicide.
Listen, gents.
Eish.
I don't want you to miss this point. Lebadi, we can talk about patenting our ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
Ne? The bottom line here, Lebadi, we need to hire credible people in certain positions. Until there's a lot of crisis of relevance. Until we hire imaginative people, people with good ethics.
But sometimes you don't know until they're inside.
No. This is a lesson to the government.
Yeah.
Okay, to the private sectors.
Yeah.
Until you hire people,
Or the one who gets the.
do you understand?
the
Who
actual
are
proposals.
deserving to sit on the table of influence. Then this conversation will continue forever and ever and ever.
And I cannot, there's nothing wrong with
And this
it.
bullshit here, due to budgetary constraints, we wish you well in your future endeavors. It has to stop. Engage with young people. What is it that you want to do? Proposal ya gore I rata, but it's not aligned to our corporate strategy.
Yeah.
Company C and D, ke bona e le tsone dealing aligned to what you want to do. Now hear me, Lebadi. How am pamad, but you've led me to the relevant parties.
You've applied your brain.
You are capacitating me. You are giving me courage to say you are not off the mark. But our business interest this year around
It's going that way.
is going that way.
Marbabo, ne?
Yeah.
So that way you are not killing a dream.
Yeah.
You are inspiring me
That's for
to
real.
look the other direction. Yeah, and this nonsense, my man. You are due to budgetary constraints. Come also after 6 months thinking your budgets have improved.
Upped.
Do you understand?
That's how we go.
Do you understand? Unfortunately, I'm still not aligned to what you want to do. And don't tell me, my man, who you are busy. What are you busy with?
With my nigga.
You should be busy with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That thing, there's a gentleman called Manuel Ruhap. Shout out to him.
Must come back in the day.
Yes, because that's the guy I dealt with the first time when we got a deal 5 years in Moscow, right? And he taught me one thing which to date I'm still applying. Nane ke tsile ka ngondo ya gore re goga phateng e maswe go re goga batho ira nyenye a kere ke ja presentation, and he said to me, Tez, I don't care what you be doing.
Yeah.
What you need to come to me with is where have you seen discrepancies or problems within my company?
Yeah.
And what is the solution that you are offering through what you are doing? Do you understand?
He laid it down.
Hey, you understand? That's it. So that is what I do. Everywhere I go, if I do a presentation, I have to understudy the company that I'm targeting first. So that when I do a presentation, it's prepared. It's aligned. You understand? So it's not like we're seeking for favors. Last year, there's a gentleman I sat down with, Moabiko Coca-Cola, and I said to him, listen, we want to work with you guys, but these are the issues on the table. Yeah. And I said to him, if you don't believe in my project, it's okay. Yeah. But I don't want favors. Yeah. And with that word, he said to me, Antare, Tess, the fact that I know you, but the fact that you said to me, Barobore, you don't want favors because you trust your product. Yeah. You trust your brand.
You know what you're doing.
Your work ethic is top.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
We will support you and based on that. And we dealt professionally. They were over impressed with what we promised. So that's what we are looking for.
Yeah. There are products. There are so many products. Let me give you a typical example. And I'm happy that we're talking business now. We're talking how to make money. We've got products. So many products. We've got products that are sitting with so many companies. And they are failing to take off. What's what? And
Mm.
imagine if you are to sponsor 3, 4, 5 events, and you are failing to take off. What's what? And imagine if you are to sponsor 3, 4, 5 events, and you are failing to take off. And imagine if you are to sponsor 3, 4, 5 events, and you are failing to take off. What's what? which at the very least each would have about 10,000 people. Times 50,000 people. And we're selling a ticket through one of your services. I agree you've got these transactional
platforms.
One of these very same people, they are honestly and frankly struggling to push these products to their people, these services to their people. But we have people, we've got numbers.
They're not supposed to be there.
We have numbers. Okay? And we can shove down these services down our people.
Because they're coming to the show.
Our people are coming to, they are buying tickets.
They are buying tickets.
So why can't we place our tickets through them? Imagine sending 50,000 tickets through one of their platforms. What it says to them. And it's not only just for purpose of buying. Post-buying, you have access. You use
information.
Data. These guys are sleeping on themselves.
Database mining.
That's why I got the HR. Pick the right people to do
let's
their jobs, especially when it comes to creatives.
Let's hire the right people.
All encampassing. You have to find someone.
Today we have restaurants, Scar. Okay. Today we've got restaurants.
World of wines. Yes, sir.
Today we've got restaurants. They've killed clubs. Clubs don't make money through the entrance fee, which was the case back in the day. So instead of having Tez as a promoter at one of the clubs to bring whichever artist, a whole restaurant brings this. Actually, they've got the financial means. They've bring this particular individual that is highly and sought after.
They make money through the bar.
So this guy is going to come here and perform absolutely for free. All right? People that should be paying to buy tickets to go to Born and Raised to see this individual perform at Born and Raised. Wa go tsena mahala ko restauranteng ya ga semamang a performa mahala ko teng. Ora promoter already. It's a middle finger.
That's messing up the game completely.
Do you see what I'm talking about? Now we've got restaurants that are bringing all these artists. By long, they are fresh. They want to be seen. They're performing for free. When last did your restaurant book you? Oleska.
No. Shout out to the bars. as much as you know, I know Zbizo is one of the people who's really mad about bars hiring people, but a bar will give you dough because they want people to buy liquor, and you know you perform because you're not getting any action in the clubs.
It's not done right.
I know it's easy money.
It has to be done right.
Dog, but looking at Malinga
and Scar, we need to decline easy money. Scar, we need to decline easy management.
For how long?
No, until the system shuts down. Don't cry it do Scar. It's October. The system had to shut down. At some point, shit has to stop. You understand?
So now, it's the same. The desperation is a trap.
That's what I'm saying. You can't negotiate when
that is what is coming to. That is what is coming to an end. You know, in change management.
So you niggas are gonna change this for us, please.
No, we're gonna change.
In change management, they stop, start, and improve. We're not improving.
So we gotta stop.
Here we're stopping. And then what? Starting in a new clean slate,
new situation,
in a different way, different perspective, different dynamics in place.
I'm really like I'm hopeful.
I'll tell you now. I'll tell you now. Hey, Scar, could you have? You know what has more than anything is have one of these corporates say to you, "We're buying naming rights." 2-3 days or 2-3 years down the line, they ditch you. Okay. You're there in suspense. You fall with your forehead. You're done. You see what I'm talking about?
Bickings, Born and Raised, and then a couple of days down the line.
And when you have
there was a show at Botswana Craft. What happened to it?
No, none of the perform go on a garden ke orange jacket.
But I used to quality proposal every year to the same partner. Appreciate that we need to have a long-term understanding and agreements. Because if you don't believe in the event from inception, you are going to come in and then what you are going to do is but we something should go wrong. and then support. But if I want a 3 to 4 year contract with this person, you are going to improve together. There are going to be mistakes that you're going to make.
And hold me accountable.
You understand? And you can sit down on the table and say, listen, we could improve. Not you. We can improve this thing by doing 1, 2, 3. In the 3rd, 4th year, right now, level it's about MTN bushfire. But the support
continues, and they're never perfect. But the support is massive,
always there.
Valentine, MTN, they're in it, and
the economy crushing.
Yeah,
it's a blessing in disguise to promoters. Into the world of the creative sector. Because those that have always undermined and doubted us will start to believe that we have been sleeping in the sector. We need to put in money. We need to resurrect our business. We need to meet our targets through these very same people. So now for me, where I am, I think to some degree, I'm very happy as to what is happening to the economy. It may sound as if I'm not patriotic. It may sound as if I'm irresponsible. But bottom line is, how do this in certain aspects, and that's exactly what is happening at this point. And me, tomorrow was mining all the way to the bank. The mines are done.
I got 3 minutes, so I'm gonna have to give you guys 45 seconds each to wrap it up. I don't even know if I have a question, because this is one of those emotional shows where I'm invested in this space. You know what I mean? And you know what's crazy about this space is that I always look at people who deny us opportunity. You don't know, you have a cousin, you have a brother.
Not what happened to that podcast.
No, Kedu Buzenj.
So these guys are chancers.
No, they are not farmers, they're chancers. No, there's a problem here where everyone. No, people in marketing.
How do you not plug and play on this podcast?
No, maybe that's in their minds.
People that are supporting it. How the hell? I don't care, brother. The truth should be said as it is. You know what? Can I tell you something, Ska? They've failed already. That thing failed before it took off. It failed before it took off. Fact.
I know.
Right?
I know. And whoever came up with that idea really.
There's a guy behind that thing. That guy's a joke.
All right, Lebadi.
We gotta shut this down.
But before. Okay.
The whole sponsorship. Come on. Sponsorship what? And you decide to have your own.
I know. No, it's never worked for anyone.
And you claim to be a guy behind the arts. That guy is a joke.
Guys, we have 45 seconds.
The corporation is a joke itself.
No, to come again.
No. And can I tell you something? Can I tell you what hurt me more than anything? Batswana have bought shares into that thing. My mother has bought shares into that thing. She's benefiting because of people making.
Do you know why they didn't think that thing? Because there are no consequences. People need to be fired.
Give them the few remaining.
No,
people need to be fired. There are no consequences. This thing, permanent and pensionable, has to stop.
Office, give us a paper. Are you guys in the office already?
Yeah, we are in the office.
We'll invite you to the office. The previous committee has handed over. It's a process. We are still to hand over. We have trust and faith that it will be done successfully. If not done, you will see it and you will feel it.
Definitely.
Because we're not going to nurse anybody to anything. We are dealing with our members' money. We're dealing with guys that know what they want, and they have not been getting entirely what they are looking for. And our position is to ensure they get what is theirs. They've put in money. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. And Brashima Gana Oku Public Accounts Committee. I've always felt what if we have a musician within
a whole member of parliament. What could you talk to Brashima Manake?
He's been in BEPA as well, so inside man. Even
better.
Lebadi, I was emotional deliberately for our members. Usually I'm a very calm person, but I was emotional for our members. To set a message, this is the only country that we have. This is the only Botswana that we have. If we can't do right for our people, then we should forget everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
The time is now.
Yeah.
Diamonds are not performing better. The time is now to let creatives run this country.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta then take it to you, Taz. In closing, like that,
Yeah, mono se metsi ho.
but we doesn't because it is the mood across the country. In closing, what do you gotta say, my big bro?
We would like to have a sit down and engage with all the potential partners.
Yeah.
Even government. Would like to have a sitting with the highest offices.
Yeah.
And not only just to engage, but also just to have somebody who would be assigned to implement.
Yeah.
Because that is critical. Re batho ba go nwa di-coffee le di-biscuits and then nothing happens. Yes.
Like feel from the ground.
Because Rona, we have so much energy. We're so much creative.
You're tapped in.
We have the bigger vision.
Yeah.
And we have our ears on the ground. We know what is happening. We can offer the government the market intelligence. We can offer the private sector and the SOEs the same.
Yes, sir.
So let's engage, let's build together, and let's make sure that we take Botswana forward.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much.
We want our members to apply for Bono Housing Scheme.
Hey, gentlemen, let's get a rate about let's phase 2, it's a block 7.
Yeah.
It's a dope house.
In a year's time, all our members live but will have housing scheme.
But guys, dog.
Yeah, sure.
We gotta get empowered, guys. I gotta shut it down. My brothers here from the Botswana Entertainment Promoters Association, Waba, Taz, and Vince, and thank you for laying it down, man.
Thanks.
What, you want some nuts? Pause. They even have pistachios. Those guys, I'm trying to get you all of the information about them. Fruit munchies are products that are made from fruits and are handpicked at peak ripeness, and they're available. Go selected engine garages, Zeta Clinic here in CBD, Total Village, Perfect Pour, and Food Girl. You don't know it's Total. Total. Guys, we're out. Thank you so much.
No, thanks, bro.
Thank you and good luck.
Sure.
Thank you. I hope we'll have this kind of sit down again.
No, get obviously. That's short. All right, guys. We're out. We'll see you guys next week, and we are gonna bring you a very big guest, guys. These are big guests as well, but this one, we are the biggest. But this is the one before we get into our 100th one. So please come through, get your tickets right here at World of Wines for 250 pula. You can select one of the 4 wines on special that we got here, and then come through, man. World of Wines right in front of where the old Capello used to be, right behind Protea. We'll have like Dimbaolanyana, that's cheeky. But yeah, it's going to be a good show. We'll be shooting the Podicast live right here. So the 14th of June, come through to World of Wines, try that wine tasting, and also buy some bottles of wine and also some Botswana products. You can buy some art while you're at it. Guys, it's been a good show. We'll see you guys next week, Wednesday. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Of different identities. PODI-CAST with BSCAR.